Welcome to Hari's Hobbies, the channel where we discuss the latest tech news and delve into the newest tech products. Today, we're taking a look at the top 6 things that you should consider before buying a Ryzen CPU in mid-2018. But before we delve into that, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys would like to stay updated with the latest tech news related to gaming and PCs. So, starting off with number 1, you have to remember that this is basically what Intel would call a talk upgrade and not the tick upgrade. So with talk upgrades, it's basically the same CPU as the year before with some small improvements like clock speed and things like that. As you guys can see, Ryzen 2nd generation really only offers more clock speed than Ryzen 1st generation. And the thing is that the Ryzen 3rd generation that is coming out next year is going to be the big upgrade that brings a lot more performance. Ryzen 3rd generation is going to be on the 7nm process, and the Ryzen 7 series for the 3rd generation of Ryzen may even have 12 or 16 cores. On top of this, we may see clock speeds as high as 5 GHz for some of the CPUs. As a result, if you can wait till the next generation of Ryzen CPUs come out, then that may be the wiser decision, because for the same price you would get a lot more performance, and this is just really a small upgrade over the 1st generation of Ryzen, while the 3rd generation is going to be a huge upgrade. So just make sure to keep in mind that the 2nd generation of Ryzen is just a small upgrade, and the 3rd generation of Ryzen is going to be a big upgrade, and it's coming out next year, before you purchase your Ryzen 2nd generation or 1st generation CPU right now. And moving on to number 2, you have to remember that Ryzen is still really only good if you're looking for really good value. If you want the best performance available, then Intel still has that crown for gaming and productivity. As for gaming, if you want the best gaming performance available on the mainstream platform, then your best bet would probably be the Intel i7-8700K. And if you want the best productivity performance, then you would probably want to wait for the new Coffee Lake CPU that's coming out later this year, that's going to have 8 cores and 16 threads from Intel. As it is clear, Intel still has the best performing CPUs, but AMD definitely still has a lot more value to provide than Intel because of the pricing situation. So just make sure to keep in mind that if you're looking for the best performance available, then your best bet is still Intel and not Ryzen. However, if you are looking for the best performance available for every single dollar that you spend, then Ryzen is still your best bet. So make sure to keep in mind that you are not getting the best performance available when buying an AMD CPU. Moving on to number 3. Make sure that you make your purchase decision based on what you're going to be using your PC for. For example, if you're mostly going to be doing productivity related apps like video editing and modeling, and you want a Ryzen CPU, then yes, you should go with the Ryzen 7 series. However, if you're mostly just going to be doing gaming and maybe some light streaming, then really you only just need a Ryzen 5 CPU. So make sure to keep in mind that Ryzen 5 is all you really need for gaming, and Ryzen 7 is really meant for productivity. And the gaming performance difference between the Ryzen 7 and Ryzen 5 series is really quite minimal. So make sure to really think about what you're going to be using your PC for, so that you can get the best CPU that will suit you and your needs. And branching off this one, as for number 4, make sure you are not overspending when you're buying your Ryzen CPU and motherboard. For example, most of you guys really only need a Ryzen 5 CPU because of what you guys do with your PC. So there's really no reason for you guys to buy the Ryzen 7 CPU. Instead, what you guys should do is buy a Ryzen 5 CPU and use the money that you save and get a better GPU if possible, because that will really improve your gaming experience much more than the Ryzen 7 CPU would. Also, unless you are going for an extreme build, there's really no reason for you to get an X370 or X470 motherboard. A B350 or B450 motherboard is really all everyone needs. Finally, don't get a CPU cooler, because the stock coolers that AMD offers are already really good, and from a performance standpoint, they perform just as well as most other CPU coolers. And because of that, there are a lot of other places that you can spend your money at before getting another CPU cooler. So overall, just get a Ryzen 5 CPU with a B450 or B350 motherboard and use a stock cooler, because that already performs really well, and you can use that money for other places in your computer, which will much more significantly improve your performance. So really, just make sure you're not overspending on products that really won't give you performance. Next up, on to number 5. Make sure that you are getting Ryzen supported RAM. Nowadays, RAM compatibility with Ryzen has gotten a lot better, but even now, make sure to do your research and find out whether your RAM can actually hit its full speed with your Ryzen CPU. Also, don't skimp out and get 2133 or 2400 megahertz RAM. I know that RAM is pretty expensive right now. However, at that point, a couple of dollars really won't hurt, and 3000 or 3200 megahertz RAM just performs so much better with Ryzen, so it really is worth that little bit of extra money. RAM speed does significantly affect your performance, so make sure you are getting high-speed RAM. So overall, make sure you are getting RAM that is supported by Ryzen, and make sure you're getting the high speeds that you can afford, because it really does make a big difference. Lastly, for number 6, make sure that you remember that Ryzen is still a new platform, and it has only been out for a little over a year now. And as a result, there are still some bugs here and there, and support for Ryzen is not as good as Intel. Intel CPUs have been out for a much longer time, and as a result, applications have had a longer time to adapt to them. Ryzen CPUs have only been out for a little more than a year, and as a result, not all applications have adapted to it. So overall, make sure to remember that you may not get all the performance out of your Ryzen CPU right off the bat, and it may take some time before all the apps that you use are fully supported by Ryzen. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys this time. Did I miss something really crucial that you need to consider before buying a Ryzen CPU? Make sure to comment that down below, because I do read all my comments and I'm curious as to what you guys think, so make sure to post your thoughts. Also, if you guys like this video, then make sure to drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you guys would like to see more videos just like this one. But until next time, bye.